Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Herbert Harris, and this is Success Mentorship Class number 354. I want to welcome our folks on Instagram. Okay. Success Mentorship Class number 354. Interesting. Welcome. Hmm. Can you still hear me on our broadcast? Just write in the chat if you can hear me clearly. Interesting. Everyone can hear me. Okay, that's fine then. All right. Well, our topic for today is face the facts. And this topic is part of actually over the next 4 Saturdays, we're doing a series and it's called New You for the New Year. And the purpose of this series is to prepare you for the new you, to prepare you for the new year, to get you ready to start this year incredibly and to get things done exactly the way you want them to get done. So, this 4 part series, today we're going to talk about face the facts. Next week, we'll talk about making the changes. We call it assess where you are right now, address changes that have to be made in your life so that you can progress to your goals. And so today we are dealing with where we are right now, to face the facts of where we are. Before we get started, just a couple of housekeeping things. Uh, our number one, our talks are of course based on our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success, and also these talks form the foundation for our course, one of our courses online called New You for the New Year, and that's available online. You can go to our website and get more information about it. But the point is, this is the time to give you the concepts and the tools to help you close out strong and open the new year with power. So let us prepare for our journey together today and start our meditation. Let's close our outer eyes, open our inner eyes. Take a deep breath, hold it, let it out slowly. Take a deep breath, hold it, let it out slowly. And in this space of peace and relaxation, I am at peace with myself. Let us affirm that together. I am at peace with myself. Just let that peace sink in. And in this state of peace and relaxation, our minds are open, receptive, and ready to learn. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Let us affirm that together. My mind is open, receptive, and ready to learn. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. All right. One of the reasons we do the meditation is to help us disconnect from the outside world and to focus on the world right here, right now, on the nowness. This this process is very powerful because it helps us to close out some of the activities out that we've been engaged in before we began our class, and then to set ourselves up to be open and receptive for the message that's coming. We look at this four-part series, New You for the New Year. Assess where you are right now. Address the changes you have to make. I like to call that setting the sails for change. Then setting some new goals based on where you are right now. And the fourth piece is to make an action plan to get it done. There's a quote from Thomas Monson, and it says, learn from the past, prepare for the future, but live in the present. And these are some powerful words because it says that the past is instructive, but not captivating. People can get stuck in the past and as a result, give up the power of the present. The future is hopeful, but it is not yet a reality. But today, what we do now is the key to live in the present. So when we start thinking about assessing where we are right now, the question is, why is that important? You know, today, I think everybody has a GPS in their car. And the GPS, the global positioning system, I like to we'll call it the success GPS, which is your success positioning system. And a GPS requires two things. It requires a destination where you want to go, and it requires a location where you are. If you don't have these two things, you can't make the journey. The GPS is absolutely worthless. And so when we start looking at where we are right now and saying, over these next 25 days, we have 25 days left in the year. Over these next 25 days, what do we have to do to end this year powerfully and to set ourselves up to have the most incredible year in 2025? We said 2024 was a good year. We got a lot more. But 2025, we strive for better, for bigger, for more. So when we look at this overall, the big picture is just there are two principles that operate in the universe, and one is results. That you always get results. Even when you choose not to participate, you get results. And so you are always in the game of life. So what you do or do not do always results in a manifestation. The other principle is change. Life is always changing. The time paradigm is always moving. When we speak biblically, we often talk about Judgment Day. And Judgment Day is the day that your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and your relationships manifest in your life. So Judgment Day is the day that you experience the things that you've created in your mind. And so in reality, every day is Judgment Day because everything that happens to us is a result of our thoughts, our emotions, our actions, and our relationships. I often talk about life as a river. We are boats on the river of time, and our boats can either be taken by the river to where the river wants us to go, or it can be driven by us based on our own desires, based on our own value system, based on the people we permit to come on our boat, and based on our attitude. If we looked at the physical, your desires like the engine, the thing that keeps you going. How badly do you want to change? How badly do you want to accomplish the things you desire in your life? Every boat has a rudder. Your rudder is your value system that guides you through the experience of life. It gives you all the underlying logic and belief on which you operate and interact. your crew, are the people you permit to come into your life. I love this analogy because very often we overlook the impact of the people we permit to come into our lives. On that boat, if you have people rowing that boat and if they're not rowing in a common agreed direction, the boat goes in circles. If we have the wrong people in our experience of life, we can go in circles. So, this idea of a boat now is impacted by the sails, and the sails are your attitude towards life. So, the same wind that blows one boat over on the river of time can push your boat ahead so that you can accomplish more and be more and do more. So, let us go on and move along about this. In order for us to get to where we need to go, we need to look at our present condition and ask some serious questions. You know, when I practice law, the way that you try a case is that you ask questions. And when you ask these questions, the answers to these questions give you the facts of the trial. We often tell a story of a trial in which kind of I call it the Evander Holyfield trial. And in the trial, the lawyer was examining a witness, and he said this was a trial that a man had bitten another man's ear off. And the lawyer was examining a witness, and he said, "Did you see James bite this man's ear off?" He said, "No." And at that point, the lawyer should have stopped because the lawyer said, went one question too far. He said, "Well, what did you see, sir?" And the answer was, "I saw him spit the ear out." And so questions will guide you to the truth of the situation. So the question that I think the central question to where we want to be right now is, am I happy? A wise man said once that fools seek gold and physical material possessions. Wise men seek happiness. And so, am I happy right now at this point in time and space? Am I happy in my thoughts, my emotions, my actions, my relationships? So, once I ask that question, you may say, well, yeah, I'm happy. I had a great year. Um, Things went my way. I accomplished the things I set out to do. And then there are others who will answer that question. Wow, this was a year. I'm glad this year is over. We had lots of disappointments, failures. Things just did not go my way. I asked myself, how did I end up like this? Well, all of that's possible, but when we ask that question, am I happy? Be very, you might say, analytical about it. If you've had a good year, if you say, yes, I'm happy, I've had a great year, stuff has really worked out for me, then um, my goals were achieved, the people I want in my life. Well, when you have a great year, give as much time to analyzing that as you do when you don't have a great year. Look at what made you happy, what brought you joy. And then your commitment then is to do more of what's working for you. You know, if you're having success, I often think about it. When stuff is going well for you, don't take a break for rest and reward too soon. If you're getting your goals accomplished, put your pedal to the metal. But, but if this year was not a good one, if you say I am not happy right now, ask the question why? Why are you not happy? I didn't accomplish my goals. I let myself get sidetracked. I bought into some negative thinking about the things I could not do. I was very insecure about building my business. I was um, impacted by people's jealousy and envy. I was trying to live my life according to somebody else's expectations. Maybe the actions were really undermining you. Sometimes we can have actions that are counterproductive to where we want to go and what we want to do. I have a young man that's worked for me many years and a skilled tradesman, but he has one habit that has undermined everything he wants to do. He's an alcoholic. And so no matter what he does, he always ends up kicking as they say, he'll milk a good bucket of milk and then kick it over. And so this idea, am I happy, am I not happy, is critical. If you're not happy with your life right now, then change it. Remember we said change is a critical part of living. There's another spiritual principle that is very profound because it lets you know you always have the power to change your life. The principle of seeking. Seeking you shall find, knocking it shall be opened, asking it shall be answered. And so if you're not happy right now, then you have the capacity, you have the power to figure it out. Sometimes you may need help. Very often, most of us at some point need to talk to somebody, need a coach, need somebody who can walk us through. And if that's the case, set your ego aside and get the help you need. Many of us don't have a good sense of why we're unhappy because we know our capacity, we know our abilities, and we know that the choices we made resulted in where we are right now. We may look at some of our relationships, and there are some people that should not be close to you. This should not be a part of your crew. And the power of the mastermind is awesome. Many of us are in direct marketing, affiliate marketing, network marketing. And one of the things we find is the greatest success we have is when we can help other people see their dreams, when we can work with them collectively and put that mastermind principle to work. But if you have the wrong people in your space, these vibrations can cancel out. It's like on that boat that is your life. If one group is rowing one way and the other group is rowing another way, you go in circles. And so when we look at where we are right now, it's a matter of analyzing our thoughts, our emotions, our actions, and our relationships to determine what changes we need to make. So how do we prepare ourselves? How do we close out strong and open stronger? You see, the interesting thing about life is that whatever you end the year doing, you begin the year also doing. So if you end this year making excuses about what you could have done, should have done, didn't do, guess what? That's how you start next year. And if you start next year on that vibration, unless you make a serious change, it may not be pretty. So, number one, what's the key to facing the facts, to assessing where we are right now? Number one, we have got to want to do it. We have said we have got to be honest with ourselves. We have got to want to do it. And the desire for change has to be so strong that nothing can stop it. A young student one day asked the master teacher, he said, when you say desire, what do you mean? The master teacher said, deep desire, desire that will not be denied. And the young man said, I don't understand. So the teacher took him out into the ocean. And when he got out into the ocean and he's about chest deep in the water, the teacher pulled him underwater. He held him for about 30 seconds and he brought him back up and he said, do you understand? The young man sputtered, no. He held him under, this time he held him under nearly a minute. And the young man was struggling, trying to come up to breathe. And finally, when the teacher let him up and he took that big breath, you know the type. The teacher said, you have to desire change as badly as you wanted to breathe. There's a powerful symbolism there because the things that you desire are as necessary to your life as breath itself. So that first key, you got to want to fix it. You got to want to change. That second key, you have to be honest with yourself. And that's really the essence of this talk this morning, to face the facts of who you are, what you're about, and the type of results you've been getting in your life. Sometimes we make excuses, all the reasons why stuff didn't work. Sometimes we want to even deny that it's not working. So if we close out this year strong and prepare for the new year, we have to be committed to be honest in assessing our progress, our situation, our condition, so that we can now change it accordingly, which is the next key. The moment you accept that whatever it is you changed, you did it, then that next key is you can now take responsibility for it. So the moment you say, I want to fix it, I'm honest with myself, and whatever it is, I created it. So if I didn't achieve my goals, I did it. If I did achieve my goals, I did it. If I permitted negative thinking to undermine my progress, I did it. If I permitted negative people to slow me down, I did it. If I overcame some of the blocks in my life and grew above it, if I had my David and Goliath moment where I faced the great obstacles and I overcame, I did it. And so this idea now of accepting responsibility really puts us in a situation, a condition where we can truly face the facts and evaluate what we need to do to close this year out. I like to use the Ben Franklin method. Ben Franklin, I tell you, the more you read about Ben Franklin, you find what an incredible person. And he had what he called the Ben Franklin method to determine how to go forward. And what he would do, he would take a sheet of paper and draw a line down the middle, a cross. And on the left side, he would write victories. And on the right side, he would write lessons. And then he would go back and list all the victories. And the victories are the good things you've accomplished, the flowers that you've planted, the goals that you've accomplished, the challenges that you've overcome, the people that you've helped. He lay out all of these victories, and I recommend that you do this today. Do your Ben Franklin method. Look at all the good things you've accomplished. And you know what? Start right now and then work backwards. You know, it's very hard to remember what you did last Thursday. But one of the reasons for having a daily method of operation where you write your goals and write the things that you have to do down is that now you have some documentation to help. Okay, I'm good. Thank you. So when we talk about the daily method of operation, we've talked about that a lot. And we say make a list of the things you have to do each day and schedule when they must be done. If you have done that, even if you've done poorly at accomplishing your daily goals, at least you have a record. So when you do this assessment to list all the things you accomplished on that left side, it gives you something to work with. If you did not keep records, if you did not make lists, if you did not keep a journal, look at where you are right now. So just remember that point. That's why it's so important to write stuff down. On the right side, put all your lessons. And lessons are not defeats, lessons are just things that did not work. And as you go down those lessons, look at them from the instructive point of view. In other words, not as failures, but as life lessons in what to do and what not to do. Put as much time into learning the lessons as learning the victories. sometimes we have a tendency to underappreciate ourselves. We'll focus so much on what we didn't do, what we didn't accomplish, that we don't give enough credence to what we did do and the things we did accomplish. So list the things you accomplished, your victories, list the things that did not work, your lessons, and then you make an assessment. You look at the number of good things you did and the number of lessons that you had, and now you can make some profound decisions. Number one, if you had more victories than lessons, then this says what you need to do is keep doing what you've been doing it, but do it better, do it more efficiently, do it with more passion. That says, hey, I had a great year, but next year is going to be even greater. And I know that many of you listening today would not be up. If you're up this time of morning, then that means you're committed to you. And so pat yourself on the back. I did great this year. Now let me do better. Let me look at the ways I can improve myself. Even in victory, you look at the things that you will not do and the things you will do going forward so that you can get better. If you have more lessons than victories, then this now is where you need to make a checkup from the neck up and the heart down. This is where you may need to make drastic changes. These are the decisions that will take you to the end of this year victoriously and prepare you for next year, or that will take you to a point at the end of this year where you're not prepared for next year. A young man once asked a very successful lady who was a CEO of a company, he said, ma'am, he said, what's the secret to success? And she said, right decisions. He was a little taken aback. That's it? He said, yep. He said, well, how do you make right decisions? She said, from experience. He said, well, how do you get experience? And she said, wrong decisions. And so it is in this Ben Franklin mindset now that you look at the things you did, the good things, to modify and improve the things that, the lessons to make those changes. And once you make that assessment, then now you can determine how to go forward. These next 25 days, you can be flat out and accomplish great things, or you can just cruise along and see where the world takes you. In this assessment process, there's certain things, the key things to look at. Number one, did you have goals? When you assess where you are right now, if you didn't make goals, if you didn't have goals, written goals, then chances are it's not a good situation. If you didn't have any goals, all is not lost, because the power of change says that the moment you change your mind, you change your life. And so with 25 days left, if you didn't have any goals to this point, if you had goals for last year and forgot all about them, you can make a change right now and say, between now and the end of this year, I'm going to accomplish one or two very, very important things. Set a goal for these next 25 days. Break them down into weekly goals. Break them down into daily goals. You see, anything you can do for 25 days can become a habit and prepare you for next year. Once you've set your goals, now you are in a position that you can say to yourself, well, let me make these changes now. I see where I'm going. I see where I want to be. I see that I need to replace some negative thoughts with some positive thoughts. I see that I need to replace some negative emotions with some positive emotions. I see that I need to change some negative actions, some negative behaviors to positive behaviors. And I see that I need to change the people I hang out with, create some new relationships. So let's just sort of put it all into context. Number one, when you assess where you are right now, you have really got to deeply desire to change. That whatever your life is right now, you created it, but you also have the power to change it, to change your thinking, to change your emotions, to change your actions, to change your relationships. Be honest with yourself. You can't fix it if you're making excuses. You can't fix it if you don't take responsibility for creating it. When you take responsibility for creating your present condition, then to change it is now the mantra is if it's to be, it's up to me. Review your wins and lessons. Pat yourself on the back if you've done really well. Make a new commitment if you had more lessons. Look at these next 25 days as God's gift to you, the present. And what you do over these next 25 days is your gift to God, your level of commitment and your actions. So set these goals for these next 25 days because they will then establish the rhythm for your success. Once you've set these goals, then you can now make the necessary changes so that your life conforms to your goals for you now to take action on manifesting them. So this day, resolve to face the facts. This day, resolve to look at where you are, your victories and your lessons, to make a commitment to change by transforming the thoughts, the emotions, the habits, and the relationships, and then to get it done. Once you've made this commitment and taken this stance, you are ready now for the second stage, which is to now look at all of the changes that must be done. Look at all of the thoughts that must be replaced. Look at the emotions that must be replaced, the habits that must be replaced, the relationships that must be replaced so that you can create a paradigm for change, so that you can truly be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have anything you desire, always knowing that the best is yet to come. And so it is. Let's just take a deep breath for a moment. Let it out slowly. Thank you so much for being with us on Instagram. Thank you. I know lesson will be a blessing to you. Take it to heart and use these next 25 days on YouTube. Those who are listening, thank you for being with us today and share this message with others. And those on our mastermind group, just hold tight so that we can have our discussion. Be sure to visit our website, by the way, herbertharris.com, and learn more about the 12 Universal Laws of Success, our book, and our New You for the New Year home study course. This course can change your life forever. You may also want to go to our website, successmentorshipnetwork.com, to learn more about some of our talks that we give each Saturday morning. Ooh. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me turn this down. Right, okay. Let's see. Here we go. Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. What a beautiful group today. Feedback, comments, questions. And what we're going to do, a couple things. Number one, let's keep our comments and whatnot because we love to hear from as many people as possible. We want to keep our time, try to stay as close to a half hour as possible. But let's let the words flow and the thoughts flow that you need to hear today. Feedback, thoughts, comments.
Uh, Dr. Harris, I have to say that your whatever you say is always timely, but this is particularly timely for me. In the words of the expression, failing to plan is planning to fail, come to mind while you were saying this, and that's very true. I had a vague idea of what needed to happen in my life, and I was working towards it, but not in a concerted way. It took basically the universe giving me a kick in the butt for me to kind of wake up, and it's like okay, I need to focus and get the job done. And so this is very timely, another reminder that keep your foot on the gas, don't let up, and get sidetracked. So thank you for that, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. This is very interesting. This music just came out of nowhere. Yeah, interesting. Sheila, thank you so much. You see what you did? You're the dream decipherer. I have no idea where this came from. Let me see what I can do for a moment to hmm, interesting. Hmm. I have never had this happen before. Hmm.
We aren't hearing any music.
Oh, you're not
Yes,
hearing it.
we don't hear it.
Okay. Well then great. Well then let's go right ahead.
It's just for you, Dr. Harris.
This is amazing. I mean, interesting. Well, thank you so much, Sheila. We really appreciate that. And I love the dream decipherer. My aunt was a dream decipherer, and she did incredible things. She did readings for everyone in Philadelphia. That was her profession.
Good
All right.
morning.
Yes. Yes,
Hello, Dr. Harris. Good morning.
Good morning,
Thank you
Veronica.
again for another beautiful charge. These past months, Mastermind has just been just so good, preparing us to wrap up this last quarter of the year and to get us ready for 2025. And I must extend an invitation and a welcome to my two guests, Paulette and Yvonne. They're on. So welcome to our mastermind. And again, like you said, we just got to make that goal. You got to write it down. You got to set those goals. So thank you again for an amazing morning.
Thank you so much, Veronica. We appreciate you. Okay. All right. All right. Finally, I got rid of it. Other thoughts and comments?
Good morning, Mastermind. Good morning, Dr. Harris.
Good morning, Dr. Jana. How are you today?
Oh, I am blessed and highly favored, and that's evident because I'm here with all of you. Uh, would you say, Dr. Harris? Well, no. What stood out to me from everything you said, everything, of course, was right on the money. Is that at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, no matter what, I am responsible.
That's powerful.
That's an idea that came up um, in our Nutraveda group. In our NutraVeda, we are one group. And I heard you say that a couple times today, and I thought, wow, I guess this is the flow. We have to do these things, but we have to do them. And wherever we are right now is because of the things we did.
Yes.
It's heavy for 5:45 a.m., but I think maybe by 9 or 10 it'll be clearer.
Yes. 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 Thank you, Dr. Jana. Thank you. You know, it's
Dr. Hill,
yes, go right ahead.
this is Kim. You know, your opening statement of being open, ready, and I forget what I wrote it down on on my notes, was so powerful to me because receptive, it says open, receptive, and ready to learn. You
Yes.
know, for me, that was very powerful statement because I had to take a look at what am I being open to and what am I actually receiving?
Mhm.
Because not necessarily what I'm open to. I mean, we could be open to challenges. And that's what kind of hit me today is, am I being open to, if I'm receiving challenges, is that what I'm open to? Or am I open to receiving blessings? And that's what I'm receiving. And I took a really deep look at that and I went, oh, wow, I'm like shifting things. And I'm realizing that the blessings that I'm getting are because of the shifts that I've been making, just little tweaks and making sure the people in my crew are rowing the right direction where they haven't been. So we were going in circles and now the process is beginning to start to move the way, you know, we want to. So thank you for that.
Wow, Kim. Thank you. Thank you. You know, I think we're like radio antennas. We pick up vibes from around the air. It's like when I was a child, you actually had to have a telegram pole in the yard with the antennas to get TV, and you tried to dial it in. And these things are just coming, these vibrations are out there in the air, and whatever we're receptive to will come and get us. And so I think we have to dial our channel so we only pick up the signals from the stations we want to receive from. Wow. Thank you, Kim. Wow. Whew,
Good morning, Dr. Harris.
good morning,
Good,
Tenez.
good morning, Mastermind Group. Well, you said something this morning that I don't know. I even throughout the rest of the message that I kept hearing it, and that every day is Judgment Day.
Mm.
Every day is Judgment Day. And for those of us, you know, we kind of think of Judgment Day in religious terms, where Judgment Day happens at the end of our lives.
Yes.
But you have really brought it home for me today that Judgment Day is not at the end of my life. Judgment Day is every day of my life. And that is a woo. That it was like you threw cold water on my face or something when you said that. So thank you for that. Thank you.
Wow, Tenez. Thank you. Wow. Yes. We each day that, in studying the intersection of thought and reality is manifestation. And that is a constant thing. Every thought we have is constantly manifesting. And so that judgment day, the day we meet the products of our thinking, the products of our emotion, the products of our action, the products of our relationships, is a moment to moment experience. But once we realize it, we can work with it now and adjust the settings. I saw that Nikki said adjust the coat hanger antenna. Oh, Nikki, you just brought back memories as a kid. Man, you turn in that antenna, maybe put a little aluminum foil on it to be able to get it. So thank
Well,
you so
growing
much.
up in South Africa, we used to throw out those factory made antenna that were rigid. and you would put the right dents in your coat hanger antenna. And it just occurred to me how we don't get to work with the standards that are out there. We get to tweak every little and create our own bends and niches in that antenna so that we can tune into the perfect picture for us and for our lives. So we get to make those small adjustments, not just go with the norm for everybody, because each of us is so unique. So, yeah. And I'm not showing my age. I was in South Africa. So, for those of you not in the US, you know what I'm talking about. And we worked at the same age as these other guys.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you. Wow. Well, Tenez and Nikki, Tenez, thank you so much for sharing that. And I think that is a very instructive thought that can help us in making better choices and better decisions, knowing that we meet. There's a talk we do called I Meet No One But Me. And so all the decisions I make create the person that I am. And all I do is keep meeting different versions of myself, always, in other people, in other experiences. Yeah, thank you. All right. Other thoughts, comments, feedback?
Hey, Dr. Harris.
Yes, Don.
Good morning, Mastermind Group again. What's really standing out here for me, I listened so intently to what you were saying, and even as we try to race to the end of the year, what stood out for me that I need to do now is to pause for a moment. Pause for a moment, assess where I am, look at where I want to be. See if that is a realistic and a SMART goal, and reassess if necessary, and then move again. Because sometimes I think in this, these last days, we're rushing to get to the end, and we're like, I gotta get it done, I gotta get it done. But are we on the right course? Or are we on the most effective course? Because we got to look at that. What's the most effective course that's going to take us to where we want to get in the shortest time possible? That's what's really standing out to me, because so much stuff has already happened for the year. And sometimes you look back and you was like, maybe if I had done it a little differently, maybe I needed to tweak this. So I think this is, even though this is such a critical in the race to the end of the year, it's also pivotal that we look to see, really assess where we are. That's so very important. Where are we right now in this race? And how do I effectively get to that finish line? And put that in front of us as our vision. Because as you said, maybe we need to just choose one or two things, or maybe one thing. And say, I'm going to put my all my energy, my concentration of forces, concentration of energy, concentration of resources into that one thing to make sure that I'm victorious. And that at the beginning of the year, I don't start with a whole heap of unfinished business. Because I've been guilty of that. A whole heap of unfinished business. I started here with a lot of things.
Woo!
There with a lot of things that are still unfinished. So that's what really stood out for me today, Dr. Harris.
Woo! Thank you, Don. Thank you so much. As you were talking, all of us, I think, when you are committed to being on a program or a project like this early in the morning, all of us are doers. There's nobody on here that's not a doer. Okay, you're not going to be up. Mr. Dudley of Dudley Products used to have his motivation lectures at 5 a.m. in the morning. And we said, Doc, why you do that? He said, because anybody that gets up at 5 a.m., they really want to hear the message. And so all of us are doers. And one of the challenges I know that I have, and I think maybe others, we are doers, but we have so many talents, so many abilities that we try to do so many things. And sometimes in our lives, literally, our lives are being pushed on by the commitments that we've made, by the tasks that we have chosen to do. And so that sometimes you get that feeling, it's like we don't quit. That's the one thing about all of us people who get up this time of month. They don't quit, but sometimes events can pick us up and be pulling us along because we made a commitment to get it done. And sometimes we're almost operating on automatic. And the only way to break that is, it's from NLP, a pattern interrupt. That's what it is. But that pause, Dawn, and the Bible says it says go into the closet, go into the quiet space. And so many times that pause is not only the pregnant pause, it's the powerful pause. And that can serve us well for those of us who are just multi-talented, multi-action, busy, 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 that sometimes the events and commitments that we make are pulling us along, and we need to make that pause to just back up for a moment, take a deep breath, be open and receptive to the vibrations from the universe, and then make a new start. So thank you so much. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, wow. Yes. Good morning. Peaceful greetings, Doc and the Mastermind family. How y'all doing?
Beautifully,
All right.
Tyrone.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Yeah. Speaking on that note of the pause, I reside in Tampa, Florida, but for the last 2 days I took a pause trip, business trip to Naples, and Naples is actually in on the southwest part of the peninsula of Florida, and it's nothing but like Everglades and swamps, and I mean, there's alligators and big buzzards and all. I mean, it's really the rural part of Florida, but it's really relaxing because it's away from the city. So being here these last 2 days, I took care of my business and had a lot of time to reflect, and it feels good, just as you were just mentioning. The pause sometimes is needed so you can have some peace, be still, so you can have some time to really think. And my wife didn't even want to come, but she has something to do. But usually I like to travel with my wife, but I'm here by myself, and the solitude is even more rewarding. But yes, great lecture, great lesson. And I just want to say quickly, the moment you change your mind, you change your life. And I forgot the famous person that says, if you say you can do it, you can do it. If you say you can't do it, you're right, you can't do it. I don't know, it was Henry Ford or one
Henry Ford.
Carnegie, somebody, yeah,
It was Henry
somebody
Ford.
said that, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But it's the power of the mind. You said we got to remember, there's nothing more powerful than a made up mind. And once you are seriously determined to do something, there ain't much that can stop you if you really want to do it. The key is you really got to want to do it as you open up. So thank you very much.
Thank you,
Have a great day.
Tyrone. You
Yeah.
too. Thank you. Thank you. And by the way, everybody, I just put in the chat what we do, the talks that we give on Saturday morning. The front part, the lecture, we'll call it, we'll have on Facebook, or I just tried out YouTube today just for a change. But we don't put the discussion online, but we have the Patreon group. And I put the link there, patreon.com/success mentorship network. And so I recommend that you go click on that link, and it's free through the end of the year. But to get a chance to get on there, and that way you can listen to the full program, listen to the discussion. And we have, gosh, over 100 videos and audios on there and a whole bunch of other stuff. So be sure to go to the patreon.com Success Mentorship Network. I'll put it in the chat again. And that way you can have access to the complete talks that we have with the discussion. All right. Other thoughts and feedback?
Oh, yeah. Good
Yeah.
morning,
Good morning,
everyone.
Kim. Here we go. Yes.
So I'm listening to everyone's comments and what Don just said and the gentleman that just spoke just said really stood out. And I'm making my own notes based on my own reflection of what I'm hearing. And so I share, but also speak to myself about being encouraged because you started and you are committed. This is what you said, Dr. Harris, and Yet we need to pause and engage in our own solitude.
Mhm.
And the reason that stood out is because we can get overwhelmed. And
That's right.
that's where I have been struggling um, as of late, because I have opened myself, made myself available to things that I would like to be involved in, because there are opportunities for me to move forward. And in the midst of that, it's like, oh my gosh, I gotta balance, it's the balance. It's the necessity for balance. And so this is great. It's right on time. Judgment Day is every day. Reflect. I wrote a poem called Recognize, let me see. Reflect, Recognize, and React. And so, this is so timely, and I thank you. I'm so grateful for these. And yes, it's 5 a.m. Well, it's now 6 o'clock in San Diego. And another thing that I tie this into is I'm always seeking the ambition and the tenacity that my grandfather had. My grandfather was a person who did not have a high school degree and high school diploma. And he and other family members went from Arkansas to San Diego, California. And over that time, he worked for the Naval Air Station, retired after 40 years. But with 4 children, he left 5 homes to his legacy. And it always amazed me, because when I would spend my summers with him and my grandmother, I recall getting up early in the morning with my grandmother. I for the most part, am an early riser, and we would be up, and my grandmother would be fixing his breakfast, and he'd be out before the sun got up.
Yes.
And so, it's something magical about the time before the sun rises, and we're up and we're moving, and we're in sync with the universe and with what God has put on our mind. But when I say I have so much on my mind that I know I'm supposed to produce, I have to pause. And this is just so helpful. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you so much, Kim. Thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Wow. Wow. Christine, thank you. Yes, open your mic, Christine.
That would help, huh?
Yeah.
Good morning, good morning, everybody. It's nice to be back. We had a great trip, good holidays and stuff. You guys, it's just been awesome. I love so much. Again, I've got 2.5 pages of notes. Um, Dr. Harris, Success GPS, you got me with that one right away this morning. I loved it. I just loved it. But we were talking about balance, or Tyrone was talking about balance. And one of the things that we've always taught is balance is the key to power, right? And one of our other teachings, I guess, is our life works in direct proportion to the commitments that we make and keep. And that's very key. But what's been really interesting this week, Nikki and I were talking about accountability and responsibility a lot, and people forget you can renegotiate. And a lot of times we make all these commitments and we overcommit ourselves because we want so much, we want to learn so much. But you don't forget the power of renegotiation, because it doesn't mean you get rid of that commitment, but you might renegotiate it to tomorrow, if you can't get it done today, and not have to feel guilty about that, because you want to make sure that you still can function. um, I don't know, I can still function, I should say, that I can still function without feeling guilty because I had to do it at a different time,
Mhm.
you know. So that's real important to me at any rate. Thank you, Dr. Harris.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you. I just made a note of that, and that's powerful. You said that The commitments, our life is really manifest in accord with the commitments we make and keep. But the power to renegotiate, that's a whole lecture. You need to, Christine, it's time for you to speak on the program, okay? And you just got your topic.
Oh, okay. We'll talk about this. We'll talk.
Yes, okay. But that's awesome. When you said that, I could feel it, the vibration in me. That's an awesome power, the power to renegotiate, to change your relationship with whatever it is, to change sometimes to change your relationship with yourself. That re, the mirror renegotiation. when when you stand and look in the mirror and you see who's there, and you like, okay, what's that? Michael Jackson, the man in the mirror, the person in the mirror, and to renegotiate, however that person you want them to look, to feel, to think. That's awesome. I can't wait for that. Don, make a note. Christine is speaking on the power to renegotiate your life. Woo! Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Harris, I was just here saying that. That's so powerful. Oh my God. I just said to myself, I need to learn the power of renegotiation. So, Christine, we're going to get you on this schedule because this is awesome.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's Nikki.
Just to follow on from that and our discussions, Christine and my discussions earlier this week, one of the things that hit me about the power to renegotiate was the fact that when you made a commitment to something, you were at a particular place. As you grow, that commitment may no longer serve you or serve you in the same way.
Yeah.
So the power to renegotiate actually gives you the ability to now achieve what you need to achieve in the moment,
Yes.
not what you committed to before when you were in a different place. And that's what struck me really hard
You
with
know,
my discussion with Christine earlier this week. And that's where the power of that pause comes in,
yes.
to stop and actually focus on why you are doing what you're doing.
Yes. Well,
What do you want it to achieve?
Nikki, as you were saying that, the power to renegotiate is really evidence of your growth.
Yep.
Because we always relate to things based on our level of consciousness. And the Bible speaks on that. It says, there's a season for all things. And so sometimes the negotiation is made in one season of your consciousness, and now that you've grown to another place, it's now different. And you have to renegotiate because you're different. Wow. Thank you, Nikki.
Good morning. Good morning.
That sounds like Herman.
Good morning. How you doing, Dr. Harris?
Doing great, Herman. It's good seeing you again, man. We missed you.
Oh, it's good to be missed. It's good to be missed. Let me just say, Dr. Harris, once again, thank you for the food for thought. Thank you for nourishing my spirit. The talk was phenomenal. The Ben Franklin method holds you accountable, accountability. You are responsible for the things that go right and the things that go wrong because you were the one that made the decisions. Oh man, that resonated with me. I just want to say two things. I'm going to be brief today. Uh 18 months ago when you invited me to participate in this mastermind class or group, I didn't even know what a mastermind was. I just said, sure, I'll beat it. And this mastermind group has changed my life, right? And it allowed me to grow and stretch in ways that I didn't know I can grow and stretch, or in ways I even needed to grow and stretch. I'm just going to give you an example, right? I wasn't familiar with talking about conscious and subconscious mind, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. That was like spooky. to me, subconscious mind, right? So you made it relevant, not even the relevancy of it, but the importance of it to help you become who you want to be. So I was growing for 58 years of my life. I didn't even understand the important essential values of the elements that made me grow. So my comfort zone was keeping me in places. But I'm gonna just give you an example that'll sum it up. I learned information last year that I wasn't able to understand because I wasn't on that conscious level. My subconscious never heard of it, and I never was on that subconscious level, on that conscious level. So when I heard the information, I couldn't understand it. But a year later, as a result of getting out of my comfort zone, now I can understand what was being taught to me. And that is just blowing my mind. And I just want to, before I close, I want to say, Christine, thank you. We can't wait for the power of renegotiation. Like we can't wait. And I want to tell, I just want to share this with you, Christine, because I renegotiated my book cover, right? I wrote a book, I submitted it to the publisher, and I've been growing. Who else? Nikki just spoke about growing, right? Like you're not in the same place that you were when you started, right? So I'm not in the same place that I was when I started the project of my book. So my book was called The VIP Mindset. So a year later, it's now called It's Motivational Minute Time, Reversing Self-Stigma 1 minute at a time. And that just came out of like, it just morphed. I could have been stuck, right? I could have said, no, I'm not going to course correct. No, I'm not going to renegotiate. It's going to be the VIP mindset. That's what it is. It speaks about principles, vision, intentionality, and perseverance. And that's going to be it. But as I've grown this year, like I do a 1 minute motivational talk every morning. And that talk morphed into It's Motivational Minute Time. So that turned into the title. And then I've been doing a lot of work with addiction stigma. And I realized that stigma is not just for addiction, it's for people that just have a negative projection because the way that society has stored them. So we have limited beliefs, self-doubts, fears. Everybody has stigma. So I included everybody in it. And I wanted to identify with the addiction community as well. So the new title is It's Motivational Minute Time, Reversing Self-Stigma 1 minute at a time. And it took some courage to change the title. Let me tell you, when you're vested in something and you got to renegotiate and change it, it's like, no. But you got to take risks. And what I've learned, this is the last thing, I'm serious, I'm going to shut up. This is the one thing I learned. When you're in this book writing business, people aren't just going to buy your book because they like your cover or they like your title. I'm going to give you something today. You have to be specific to your target audience so people who you're aiming for know the book is for them. If you think you're just going to write a New York Times bestseller and everybody's going to pick up your book and nobody knows what your book is about and who are you, you're sadly mistaken. So it pays dividends to be specific and aim your book towards people. That's it for me, guys.
Wow. Thank you so much, Herman. It's so good to hear from you. How's Karen?
Karen is cool. She got me, we didn't get up yet. We still laying around looking at the ceiling.
Well,
But
beautiful.
she's good. She's
Yeah.
good. She reminds me, it's 8 o'clock. Dr. Harris is coming on.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Herman. And yeah, I tell you, you have opened a can of worms here today, Christine. There's so many applications of that. There's so many things that we can do, renegotiating our lives. I mean, that is a great power. And I thank you for sharing it with us. Wow. Thank you,
Well,
Herman, for your powerful words. And I tell you, I have been blessed to see your growth. You know, from the first time I met you, I think it was March 18th of 2023 at a book signing. And since that time, now you've written 2 books. You've gone to Africa and lectured around the world. And who would have thought that the young man and the young lady sitting in the front row at that book signing and that talk now are on the map? So congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for your mentorship.
All right. Wow. Paige, you've been saying some powerful things. I've been looking in your chat there. I think you about ready to say something, aren't you? I saw Paige Whitfield. Okay.
I
I
think
re-
she's at work.
oh, okay.
That's why.
Oh, okay. Sh- all right. I see. How can we get the book, Herman? Yeah. Yeah. Put information about your book in the chat there. All right. Other thoughts, feedback, comments.
I just have to say, I can tell how close you are with Coach because Coach will Shanghai me to do stuff the same way you just did.
Well, we appreciate you, and I mean that's just some powerful stuff there. Wow.
I'm happy to do it. I am.
Yes. Okay.
I
Lena,
just wanted to add that
yeah.
perhaps there are other people out there, just like Christine, who are hiding their wisdom. People like me need to hear it, so share it. The wisdom I gained from Christine is huge, but each of us has wisdom to bring. Stop hiding it.
I got you. Thank you, Nikki. We appreciate that. Lena, I saw some great comments you were making. Did you want to share? Okay. All right. So I think we've covered everybody today. Unless there's anyone, Coach, carry on. Finally figured out how to work my filter.
Absolutely incredible. No, you did fabulous job. And we got a lot of new people on today. Uh, Dr. Forbes, want to welcome you. And I picked up a lot, but one of the biggest things is that Miss Christine is coming out. I'll have my notebook, Christine, ready. And you got a lot of other powerful people. Veronica on the line. You've got, and Herman, I absolutely missed you. So thank you. Miss Lena, good. She probably tied up. And Kim, as always. And so if everyone goes ahead and invite 4 or 5 others, this community will continue to grow. And so the grandkids are looking real good, Doc.
Woo, I'm telling you something. You know, Coach, something I think it was Kim said, grandparent wisdom. And as you were talking about your grandparents, Kim, I was thinking about, you know, our grandparents and how as kids, that grandparent wisdom, people had very little education, but a lot of information and experience and wisdom. And I think one of the things today about this kind of microwave world we live in is kids don't get the advantage of that grandparent wisdom. Again, you notice how it sticks with you forever. You'll be thinking about things from your grandparents now in your 60s, 70s, 80 years old because those ideas were so profound. And we appreciate that grandparent wisdom. Okay.
I've never thought in the 80s when you were sponsored, that I'd be here taking notes from you. It's
Well, everything has a season. I think all of us go through different changes and different growth patterns in our lives, and the growth that we have. Something I'll just share. I've been doing my meditation. I do a healing meditation every day, but I have been doing the pineal gland meditation. And the pineal gland is a gland. It's really kind of in the center of the brain, but it's the gland that is often associated with the third eye. And there's a certain time of day that when I do my meditation, I'm in my studio, the sun comes in a certain way, and I turn my meditation chair so that it hits me right here. And I can feel and see the pineal gland responds to light. And I've been noticing it ever since I've been doing this meditation with that penetration and seeing that light coming into my pineal gland. I've been noticing that I have more energy. And so it's something that we may want to look at. The pineal gland, do a little research on it, but that's that connection. If there's a physical connection to the superconscious mind, it's the pineal gland. It causes the body to emit certain chemicals that make you relax, that cool you out. And so that pineal meditation has been very profound for me. And I see that light coming in into that third eye, and it illuminates the whole mind. And so that may be a power tool for each and every one of us to begin to access. When you go to Egypt, inside the special temples, there was always a place called the Holy of Holies. And inside there was a point, often a jewel, and at certain times of the year, the light would come through a certain channel and would hit that jewel, and it would illuminate that whole area and give such power to it. And the pineal gland is a way to kind of access that type of cosmic and universal power. So I felt the need to share that with you.
On that note, Dr. Harris, in response one to what Coach said, and you speaking about the grandparents and our elders, on these calls, I do feel like I'm sitting with the elders that are assigned to me at this time of my life. And I'm just, I am really grateful. I thought of Dr. Harris as Uncle, from the time that you reached out to me back here earlier this summer. And also, speaking of the pineal gland and the third eye, if you will, one thing I discovered one day and you guys should try this, is I was out just taking in the warmth of the sun and my eyes were closed. And somehow I discovered putting my hand over my forehead, and literally there is a light within that area. And you remove your hand from the forehead again, and you will actually realize with your eyes closed the covering and the uncovering of that space just above the brow. And, there's no eye there, but that's the third eye. Like, we are so wonderfully made. So that's something that I discovered and just wanted to share because it's so powerful. And that in the sun, the power of the rising sun, the warmth of the sun.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kim. Yes, yes. Well, folks, wow. What an incredible day. Thank you so very, very much. Let me make sure that I've taken care of all of our housekeeping stuff. So be sure to go to the patreon.com/Success Mentorship Network. That way you'll get notifications and be a part of and have access to all of these trainings and recordings and comments. Be sure to check out, and those of you, many of you are involved with the Great Discovery, but the our course, New You for the New Year. We've been really, it's such a timely course, and I recommend that you go to your website, go to your Great Discovery website and pull that course up and share it with people. I think it will transform a lot of people and it will create income for all of us, but it will help get this mindset out there that can transform the world. All right. Well, we have covered everything. Dawn, have we covered everything?
I think we've covered everything, Dr. Harris. Just want to encourage everyone to come on back next Saturday, come in on time so we can start on time. And I wanted to say, Coach, we missed our session, but this grandkid is one that's gonna hold on to your coattails because
No,
Harris.
I have you in my notebook to call you and Jermaine right after the call.
Yeah, this grandkid does not let go.
So I have you down. I'm gonna call you after, or you just call me and we'll play.
Okay.
All right.
But I think we're good, Dr. Harris. You've done everything.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for being on the call today. I think everybody has had a chance to speak. If there's anyone whose heart is just begging and reaching for them to outspeak and share something, I'll give that opportunity right now. If there's anyone that their spirit says, please let me say something, you have that opportunity right now. Okay, then. We are complete. Thank you so much for being with us. Be sure to go to Success Mentorship, patreon.com, Success Mentorship Network, so that you can be a part and bring somebody next week because we're going to grow this thing and we're going to always maintain this type of closeness if we have to have breakout rooms at some point. And each and every one of you will be leaders of a breakout room doing what we do here. And we're going to grow this thing to the point where we can create a vibration that can transform the entire world with us as the seed and with the sun and God as that conduit and that power tool to make it happen. All right, folks, we'll close out in our normal way. Hey, Stuart, good seeing you, my friend. We send out healing blessings to you. So we'll close out in our normal way. We can open your mics and we say together, the best
The best
That's
is yet
yet
to
To
come.
come.
To come.
And so it is.
so
And
it is.
so
So
it
it
is.
is.
what it is.
Peace and blessing.
Peace and blessing.
Have a wonderful week, guys.
God bless you.
Thank you. Have a great week.